everyone.
Hey there.
It's a dreary, rainy day.
It is. That's all right.
Frown.
We're going to make the best of it, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah.
So we're inside, but because we're still hoping, folks. We are hoping to get outside, but every time we try, it rains. We have a rain-snow mix all week.
Yeah. Cold, rain, bad.
Yes.
So inside stuff.
Inside stuff.
Plenty to do inside.
Yes. So we have these various projects all throughout the house. There's like little areas that need to be done.
Yeah.
Some are very expensive. Some are like, some are like, yeah, that's nothing. So we're going to pick the, yeah, that's nothing area just because it's less trouble for us. It's actually something we're excited about. It's fun. And also it's easy on the pocketbook. So let's go with that.
Instant gratification. It's going to look great right away.
Yes, and well, that's the other thing. A lot of our projects are things that you wouldn't see. It's not worth making a video about. So it's like, we'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah.
Nothing, existential. Nothing like, oh, we're going to have a flood in the house or anything. Nothing like that.
Minor repairs and whatnot, but boring stuff.
Minor repairs.
Yeah.
So here, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the living room instead of like doing a little here, a little there. That gets really annoying, I think, as a viewer. Sometimes I'm like, when we're all over the place, it's too much. I want to focus on this one room. Also, it's annoying for us to be doing it for our home because then we're like, all right, we got that in there, we got that in there. So we're going to focus on the living room. What do we have in the living room? Well, we're going to, what we're going to do is we're going to refinish quite a few things, but like little projects. I'll tell you that in a second. But what I'm really excited about is we picked up these lamps on Facebook Marketplace. I've been looking for these beautiful pottery lamps for the longest time. Wow, are they expensive. Through Pottery Barn, they can go like $100 and something per lamp. And then I've seen it in other places, like even Amazon carries some beautiful ones too, but they're, 100 something. It might be even close to 200 for a set of two. Great, at least it's two, but I still don't want to pay that. So I've been looking and looking and looking week after week for these lamps, found them on Facebook Marketplace. Basically, you're looking for the shape. It's the shape I wanted. It was the size I wanted. They're big, bulky, beautifully shaped pottery. But, when we took them home, they're pink.
They're a really ugly pink. But we knew that going in. We saw the picture,
Yes.
but what was the price?
$15. 15.
Each?
For two.
For the pair?
Right.
What a deal.
Like a commercial here. But what's great about that is now I can go in and design it how I want to do it. So I'm going to do some really cool technique on it. Hopefully it works out. It always does up here. Doesn't always work out that way in person. But let's hope it does. I think it will. Yeah. I'm excited about it.
Me too.
But the wiring isn't like ancient, but it's this ugly brown thin wire. It looks like
it's a little brittle. It's kind of...
It's on the fritz, and it's old enough. The guy we bought it from was older, and he said it was his mother-in-law's, and you were kind of going through her estate. So it's old enough, but I will say it's not our style. So we're going to change the wiring.
We're going to change the wiring.
Change the appearance.
A kit on Amazon, really cheap to get a set of two. It's really cheap. So we're going to get that. We're going to change the color.
Yes.
And texture. Right?
Yes. And the lampshades, we had bought these lampshades because the lampshades that came with it were really dingy and awful. They weren't going to make it. And they weren't the shape I was looking for.
Yeah, they were old and, yeah.
In a moment, I'll explain all that, but we're switching them out. So we decided to trade up the lampshades. It worked out. So I think they're going to look all right. If they don't, we can get some bigger ones down the road. Right now, it's fine for what we're doing. So it'll be a little changed up, but even the stuff we're putting into that project, it's still going to be significantly less, and it's going to be something we actually are looking for and want. So it's not going to be like, oh, this is nice, but this is a little maybe different than I wanted, or the color's a little off. This is going to be exactly how we want it, and it's going to be much cheaper. So that's always nice. But what else we're doing in there is we're tackling some areas. I've done our buffet that I inherited from my grandmother a couple of times, and I'm just never satisfied with it. I love the white color on it and the wood top. However, it gets really dingy. So I'm going to try our little wood technique that we do in some areas of it and then paint it like a sage green in another part. There's some legs I want to refinish. So it just goes more with our style now. And the two end tables and the coffee table we're going to refinish.
We're going to change out some of the picture frames. We've got two small ones flanking the fireplace. like you said, they're out of scale, they're too small.
The scale's not right. It just seems, I keep staring at it and it seems funny to me. And they were just, oh, it'll be nice pictures right there. But, so we're gonna try to get some mats. We're looking into mats now. They're a little on the pricey side. We're gonna try to fidget and try to maybe design something on our own. If we can't, we'll go back and get the mats. But I think that might be it. There may be little touch-ups here and there. There's maybe a little paint that needs to be recovered. We're just going to freshen up the whole living room just in time for Easter. We have some company coming. We really want it to be refreshed.
Yeah.
In the weeks to come, we have kitchen stuff to do. We're almost done with our kitchen, but we did all the easier stuff. And I say easy, it did take a long time, and it wasn't that easy, but easy enough. But over our kitchen sink, these windows we've not been able to open for a while. The sink, the faucet, all that area, our countertops, all that still has to be finished, and then minor touches here and there. We don't have that in our time frame this week or in the budget, so we're kind of holding that off, but we will get to that eventually. We also have other areas of the house here and there. We've got some cool projects coming. We're already kind of divvying it up week by week, and in between all that, we're dying to get outside for gardening.
Garden, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So we hope you enjoy this week. It seems like it's maybe like a smaller, maybe hopefully you'll find it interesting video, but it's what you can do with furniture you have, how you can find something like lamps. As long as the shape is there and the size is there that you want, you can make it into something really special. So come along this week and see what we do.
Let's do this.
Let's do
I'm
it.
psyched.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm very excited about this project. We picked up these lamps from Facebook Marketplace. A gentleman was selling these, and I loved the shape of these. I really love the idea of pottery lamps. The only problem was they were pink. They have some sort of sprayed on design, if you can see it. I'm covering it with my shadow. Sorry about that. But they have these on the lamps, and they're just slightly different. With the bottoms, they have modern enough wiring, but it's kind of on the old side. It's brown, and they have two different tops, but I'm taking the challenge because I loved it. So for $15, we grabbed both of these. I'm going to tell you the ones we've seen that are this size, and they're quite large, and also this particular style, although they're already done and they look much nicer. I like challenges. This particular style of and size of lamp would be very expensive. We're talking over $100. That's just not something I'm okay doing. And also, I really like creating things, refinishing from these, dare I say, ugly things here. I'm not sure why someone would paint these pink, but I guess that's their style. It's a little shiny, and it's just a weird color. So what I'm going to do is lightly sand these lamps, and we're going to prime them. I'm going to mix paint with a little bit of sand, and I'm going to paint it on to give it a rough textured pottery feel. Now, like I said, some of the hardware is very different. I'm not changing out the hardware as of yet. I don't think that's something I'm willing to do right now. However, we did look into new wiring, so a new plug. We're going to try to take it apart. When I say we, I mean Paul. Paul's going to try to take that apart, and we're going to replace it. It's about $20 for a pack of 2 to fix this the wiring here. If we cut it, and if we take it out and we realize it's going to be too hard to put back together, there are ways to put remote controlled battery operated light bulbs, and we'll just change the whole thing. So that's what I mean when I say, as far as I know, we're not changing this out. It may change depending on the style of if we decide to do it with a battery operated thing. But really, I'm really excited about these projects. It came with these 2 very ugly lampshades that were very dirty, so we've decided to get rid of those. I may keep the frames and do another project down the road for those lampshades, but as of now, we bought 2 new lampshades. It was about $15 for the pair from Walmart. The problem is they were too small. So what we did was if you remember a few weeks ago, we did a little movie theater room in our finished basement. And what we did was we bought two new lamps which we love, by the way, from Amazon, and they were pottery style, like a nautical look to them. Those had way too big of a lampshade on it. It was kind of making it unbalanced. So the two new ones we bought, we put them on that, and it's definitely more to scale now. And these are going to take those shades that had from those lamps. So in the end, we're really having a very budget-friendly project here, and it definitely won't be over $100. So let's see how it all turns out. Okay, so in here we have dark gray that we had already mixed up, and then I added more white paint to it. So we're trying to make it nice and light. We're gonna see how that works out. And then I added some sand, some dirt from the backyard, because we want it to go on kind of rough on the pottery lamps, because we want it to look like rough pottery that hasn't been glazed. And I even put some baking soda in there to make it kind of like more of a chalk paint, but also to roughen it up a bit. Let's see how it turns out. Another key is to put it on in different strokes. Don't actually go against the grain. Don't follow the grain. Just kind of brush it on here and there, like kind of in a crisscross pattern, and you just kind of blend it in differently. So it really gives you that deglazed, really cool, like rough pottery look. Now I'm not worrying about the cord at all, because we're replacing the hardware to this. But if you were keeping the wiring, I would definitely do more of a cautious thing with the cord here. I would just tape it off, or you could even take it apart and put it back together if you're able to do so. But I'm not being as cautious because we're replacing that. And that'll be in tomorrow. We ordered that through Amazon. We can find it probably even at a hardware store, but just made it easier for us to get it through there. Really, really loving this. Even though these two lamps are slightly different, they're going to be more unified now. And they're just going to be so cool. I'm not even going to notice that they're just slightly different. Okay, so now we darkened the gray, adding more black. I'm going to do the next layer over that. I'm doing it while it's still slightly wet because I want it to kind of blend in. And that still has a little bit of that sand in that cup. I just took what was left of the gray in there and darkened it a little bit. Because we want different layers, we want different colors showing through. We want some of the light gray and the dark gray to show through. So we have like a brownish taupe that we used when we did our faux fireplace, and we wanted it to match the faux stone we had bought years before that. And it is kind of like it's a greenish brown, almost taupe-ish. So I'm going to add that to it because we have so much of this paint. So I'm going to try to add that as another layer. This does not have sand in it. I'm going to blot it down on paper. I don't want to put too much of it. Have different layers to the paint here. Colors, mixing them all together while they're still wet, just so it kind of blends together for like a good stone look. But what I can do is, once it dries a bit, come back in with one or two of the colors in between, just to kind of see if it gives it a more obvious look. But I wanted it to seem kind of blended like stone. This is just day one where I'm doing all these colors. The first 2 rounds of it, I gave a good amount of time in between to help it dry. And then 3rd and 4th and now 5th stage, I'm kind of blending it in while it's still damp. And then I'll see how I like it tomorrow, and I can always change it up a bit. And the more you put layers on, the more stone-like it'll seem. You'll see things like the browns and the grays. We'll even add a little black to it at one point, just so it'll really have different layers, different depth, and it'll look more like a stone. That sand gives it a more natural feel, as well as the baking soda. I am loving this light sage green colored door. It is still drying, so it's a little bit shiny because it's still wet. This is the first coat, and we're probably going to do 2 more coats, but I love it way better now. We are about to do these pictures. The pictures I had on either side of the fireplace, I don't know if you can see the one over there. It's an 8x10 opening and I believe it's a 10 by 13. Same with this one here. Scale wise, they just weren't working for me, and I even didn't care for the dark frames as much. So we're gonna go with these lighter frames that I've had for a while now. I've had these already, and I needed a mat so I could take it from that size to fit like it was in here and really do a cool mat thing. Well, they're super expensive. They're $20 for a 16 by 20, which is this size here, to bring it down by an 11 by 14, which I would then put on top of that. It just became more of an expense than I wanted to spend. So I have this black wrapping paper. It's kind of like a black craft paper. I'm gonna see what this works out to be. I'm gonna try doing a background mat on this frame, on the 16 by 20 frame, to go down to this size here, the 10 by 13, I believe. I'm gonna measure everything out to be sure the size. And then that will go on top of the black frame that I will make, the matte frame. We'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it ends up being a nice looking, inexpensive way to do your own mat. And now here's the finished room. We have the end tables are all freshly painted and a faux staining technique on the top and drawers. We have the new lamps that we've redone. Our coffee table has been redone. We have redone the legs of these chairs. We have done a faux mat technique in these photos and set them more to scale. So now these frames are better. They're sized better, I think, in better scale to the room. And then the buffet is finished and redone. And the interior part of our front door has been repainted. We're very happy with the way it came out. What do you think?